All right, guys, welcome to Chapter 2, Section 4. Right now, we're going to talk about the Fab Four. I am very excited about talking about this because this is how we are going to determine whether a business is viable or not, and specifically whether it's viable or not in your area, in your industry, and where you're planning on growing this business. Okay, because all of that is very, very important. So, I wanted to share something that I learned from somebody that I've been studying for a little while. His name is Howard Schultz. Okay, so Howard Schultz, he's the CEO of Starbucks, and what he teaches about um, proven methods, I love. Because the first part of the Fab Four is that we have to make sure that the business we are pursuing or wanting to start or open is a proven business. Okay. So Howard Schultz, he talks about how it is extremely expensive and how it's extremely hard to change a customer's behavior. Okay. And that has a lot to do with a proven business, because a proven business, you're coming into it and not trying to recreate or trying to change customer behavior and how customers, treat a certain product or service. Okay. So you're coming into that with an already existing, need, or already existing want, already existing expectations. Other companies have already proven to satisfy those needs and wants of the customer with the product or service that is already in existence. Okay, so Howard Schultz teaches that it is a lot easier and more cost effective to enter into this already existing market that is already being fulfilled and satisfied. Okay, because he teaches that when you treat business this way, or when you're trying to create a new method of selling, a new method or new product or whatnot, you want to come into something that's already existing. So when you do that, these bigger companies that you're modeling after, a lot of times they already feel entitled, that they own the space, right? So a lot of times these big companies get very lazy, and other smaller companies come in and disrupt. Okay, and he talks about this, saying that, yeah, all these other companies will come in and disrupt these already large, well-established companies and find the holes that these big companies don't even want to fill, right? They don't even want to take care of some of the complaints that customers have, because in the grand scheme of things, when they look at the numbers, some of the complaints don't really matter to what they're doing, so they'll focus on other ones and not on some that may matter more than they think. Now, when other smaller companies come up and say, okay, this is a proven business, proven methods, but there are a lot of things that their customers are asking for, right, that they're not fulfilling, or they don't care, or they don't have the time to fulfill. So me, the new company that's coming into this existing market, I'm going to come in and just fill some holes and create my business around that. Okay. And what you're doing is you're just finding ways to improve that product or service, or overhaul the way that the business is already being done, the way that they're selling, to fill the needs of their customer base, right? So you look at a company like Starbucks, and again, even if you found out that, hey, there's a need in this business for tea. Howard Schultz talks a lot about when they went to China and they went to these other countries, that they had to cater what Starbucks was doing to the local population. And if you look at other big companies like McDonald's too, right? They'll go into certain spaces, and they can't just come in and start selling burgers and coffee, right? You can't just now you may go to a place where, or a country where, they're not used to coffee, right? They're not big coffee drinkers, but they do love tea. Okay. So Starbucks has to adjust and say, okay, cool, we'll use our same business model, but because predominantly in this area they drink tea, we are going to be Starbucks that serves predominantly tea products. Okay. Same with McDonald's. If you go to a McDonald's in different countries, which I don't love McDonald's here in the United States, but if I go to a different country, a lot of times I'll go eat McDonald's because they always have fun items, and I love seeing what they come up with to cater to the local environment, to the local people. If you go to my island, if you go to Samoa, you'll find that they have a meal there that they don't have here in the United States, but it's a bowl of rice, and they have chicken, like mini chicken drumsticks on top of the rice, and then they have a little sauce packet of ranch. So in the United States, that may not sell well, but if you go out to Samoa, you go out to some other islands, they love chicken, they love rice. We love rice. So that sells very, very well. Again, this goes back to, you can go into an already proven system, already proven business, but you need to be very conscious, very aware of the area that you're opening that business in. Okay, when we're talking about uh, getting into a proven business, you have to look at this from a lot of different angles, and one of them is knowing exactly the industry, or uh, the area and the people that you're going to do business with. Okay, and that's how Starbucks has been able to cater to every country that they go to. Same with McDonald's. And it's a need, right? But what Howard Schultz teaches is that there are some businesses in some different industries that they're not willing to do that, right? They don't want to cater. They just want to do one thing, cookie cutter, throw it everywhere, and hope that it sticks. And when that happens, smaller companies can come in and start to disrupt. Okay, and for a lot of you who don't know, Starbucks, they started getting into a lot of areas where tea was big, and there was another company called Tiavana. I think it's called Tiavana. Um, and so they actually went and they bought Tiavana and have that as part of Starbucks business now. So now they serve tea as well. So again, great companies pay attention to what their customers are needing and wanting, and they fulfill that. Okay. So there's something that's called the second mover advantage, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that right now. And in order to really illustrate this, I'll write some things down here. The second mover advantage. Second. Okay. So second mover advantage. So what does this mean? So companies who decide to become pioneers in the industries, they've already made huge mistakes. They spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars trying to get to where they're at right now. Okay. You should, as a new company, you should learn from their mistakes and figure out how to get into business with the least amount of time and the least amount of money. And you can do this by piggybacking on all of their mistakes and their successes, so that you can leapfrog all the competition, right? So everybody that's trying to get into the same industry, some are going to sit down and start making things up and creating a business off of just new ideas. Okay. But you are more likely to succeed and become profitable faster if you will model after an already existing business and spend your time thinking of new ideas on how to fill existing holes in those businesses and the way that they do business, instead of trying to make new ideas on how to create the whole business from scratch. Okay, so I mean, this is what's called the second mover advantage. It's not this mentality isn't new. Businesses have been doing this forever and continue to do this. Some of the most successful businesses, they still do this, right? And a lot of times, you have a big company like Facebook, right? And they use this too, right? They have a company like Instagram pop up, right? And what do? They notice that a lot of their customer base is going to Instagram to use their platform for different reasons. So they come in second behind them in that new wave of different options and different user interfaces. And they'll come and they buy them so that they can take that idea and use it as their own, right? So that's exactly what we're talking about, is come into an industry that's already proven, so that you can come and just have a lot easier of a time getting started and making money as soon as possible. That's what we're all here for, right? We want to get into business, become profitable as fast as we can, automate it as fast as we can, step back to let it run on its own, hire some amazing people so they can run that business for you, so that you can step back and now start doing the same thing in different industries. Okay. So there are four general advantages, now, because there's a lot of advantages, guys, but there are four general advantages to becoming a second mover. And most of these advantages are advantages that you take from the already existing pioneers and people that are doing great in your industry. Okay. So, and I'll write these down so that you guys can have them. Okay. So number one, and these are things now that other companies have done for you that you get a piggyback off of. Okay. The number one thing is customer profiling. Okay. So customer profiling, the pioneer in the industry has already done the work in discovering, what the problem is, what the problem worth solving is, right? And providing a product or service that the customers are already guaranteed to buy because, right, they're proving it, right? Starbucks has already proven that people love coffee. They love fancy coffee and fancy cups, right? So they've already proved they've proved it, right? And you can see from the products that they sell the most what customers want, right? If you walk into Starbucks, you can just sit there for 5 minutes and watch them sell, and you'll see everything, all the lattes and all the cappuccinos, all those kind of things. You can sit there and you can watch, and you'll see exactly what the customer wants because that's what they'll be selling nonstop, and everything that's on their shelves. Um, they've already done studies, they've already done, they have all the data, so they're not going to put something on their shelf and sell, a certain cookie or whatnot unless it's already proven that the customer wants it. So they've done all of this customer profiling for you, and now you can skip ahead and not have to do any of that work. Okay, so you already know what customer wants. Okay, number two, product management. Okay, so competitors have already tested and optimized products, manufacturing and distribution. Okay, so same thing, right? We'll talk about Starbucks a lot. You go in there, the type of cups that they have, right? The what the composition of, right, is, right? If it's a plastic or a foam or any of that kind of stuff, right? They've already gotten to the point where they know their margins, they know what material is best to use, they know what colors are best to use, they know how to distribute that, right? You can sit there at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning and watch a truck come in, and you can even just look at what they're loading, what they're offloading into the business every single day, and how much of it. Again, guys, this may seem like I'm telling you guys to go spy on companies. And in all honesty, I am telling you to go spy on companies because you need to see what the best of the best are doing. Okay. So all of that stuff has already been done, right? So manufacturing, okay, a lot of times too, you can even find who the heck it is that's manufacturing these products for them by just sitting at their store and watching the truck that rolls in. If it's Cisco, if it's another big company, right? Then you know who you should use, right? Because they obviously are doing well enough to earn the business of Starbucks. Okay, so manufacturing, um, distribution, right? You can see how they're distributing their products by ordering them, right? If they have online sales, whatever business that you're looking at, buy their things from online. You'll be able to see where they're shipping it from. A lot of times you'll be able to find out where their plant is. So there's a lot of work, guys, and research that you can do to take advantage of so that you're not going out there and having to recreate everything and try you know, your own methods when there's already proven methods that exist. Okay. Another one is marketing. Okay. So marketing's huge, guys. And it's easy to go back and find out how people are marketing because you just have to find the product online, find their website, see where it is that they're marketing and following that. Okay. So, and I explained that in a previous section, and I'll continue to explain it, guys. It's easy to jump into people's, to the way that they're doing business online because now more than ever, there's so much information that is free to the public and that they have to divulge so that you can see what it is that they're doing. Transparency right now is big online, especially on Facebook. So you're allowed to go in and see everybody's ads and which ads they're currently running. But again, all this work has been done for you so that you don't have to guess, guys. We are not ever in the business of guessing. You never guess. You don't have to guess because all this information is plentiful and it's everywhere all over online and even on TV, radio ads. I mean, you'll find people everywhere and be able to model after what it is that they're doing for marketing. Okay, so I'm just going to put in here, don't guess. Research. Okay, the last one is product awareness. Okay, how many of you guys have seen, products that have come out that are like, that are just they're weird because you've never seen them before, right? So let's say there was one that came out, the shoes that had the wheels on it, right? The pioneer for that had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to try and bring that um, to try and bring that to the market because nobody had seen that before, right? It's a brand new thing, and how it was going to be accepted, they probably had no idea because it didn't exist, right? So they spent all this money, they put wheels inside of shoes, and they hope for the best when they put it out there. That is not the type of business that I'm trying to help you guys get into, guys, because you're going to spend a lot of money not knowing whether or not people are going to want it or how they're going to react to the product. Yeah, you can do a lot of case studies, you can do a lot of focus groups and all that kind of stuff. But again, all of that is time and money, right? Time and money that you really don't have to spend if you do it the way that I'm explaining it. And again, guys, I know so many very successful people that are doing exactly the same thing that I'm doing in modeling after success. Okay. So product awareness, instead of creating this brand new machine, this brand new product that no one's ever seen before, and wanting to get a pat on the back for being so original. If you want to do that, go ahead and do it. I'm just telling you right now, you're going to waste a lot of time and waste a lot of money while I'm creating businesses that are already proven, that people already want, that I know they already want, and that they're already satisfied with. And I'm just filling some holes so that I can quickly get from launch to money and move on to the next venture. Okay, guys? So product awareness. Don't be brand new. Okay. So don't be brand new, guys. All this work has been done for you guys. All of it has been done for you guys. So don't try and create this new product and try and convince people. Again, just like Howard Schultz said, trying to convince people or trying to change people's behavior is the worst business to be in. You want to be in something that's already proven and just come in and just disrupt it in different ways so that you, again, just like Instagram did, just like Snapchat did, they did a simple fix or a simple business to add to what's already proven. People already wanted to share different things and photos and stories and all this kind of stuff. Snapchat came out and said, hey, we're actually going to take that and people like privacy, so we're going to create a platform where people can share pictures and videos that disappear, right? It seems like it's just a small, that's not that big of a change, and it isn't. It's because they jumped into an already existing market. They created something, just one thing that people really wanted that Facebook wasn't willing to do or Instagram wasn't willing to do. So Snapchat did it, and all of a sudden they became worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. So again, guys, I am not the first one to come up with this, but I see it all over the place. But I also see the opposite of people like you, the ones that are trying to get into business right now and start something new, that are coming out and trying to start something so brand new that it doesn't make sense to the customer base, right? Because they just don't get it, right? But if they can merge right into what they're already doing and what they're already enjoying, right? You look at it, guys. MySpace, Facebook took care of them, right? Instagram came out, Snapchat came out, Vine came out, now TikTok came out, and now Twitter. All of these things are just they're minor variations of what already existed, and they're just taking care of certain needs that people had, you know, just here and there, right? One business is doing this and one business is doing that one. So again, be aware, come into something that's already proven, change it a little bit, and fill in a hole that's a big enough hole that you can take that percentage of that demographic of that customer base so that you can capitalize and profit off of them. Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys a case study. Oops. A case study that I love. And this is going to prove to you guys that you don't want to be a pioneer unless you are, no, I won't even say that. Just don't be a pioneer, okay? Because I'm going to show you a story. There's only a few pioneers that are still standing today. One of the only ones that I know of that does a good job at staying on top of their game is Coca-Cola. Okay, Coca-Cola is one of the originals, and again, they've been smart. They stayed ahead. I'm gonna explain a story about a company that did not stay ahead, a company that that had a hard time actually. So here is the pioneer company that we're going to talk about right now. Okay, so the pioneer is a company called Blockbuster Video. Okay. And for some of you guys, you'll remember this. For some of you guys, you're too young to remember when it was, back in 1978 when these guys came out. All right, Blockbuster Video. It was a place to go to when you wanted to watch a movie, right? You can rent VHS, right? VHS and eventually DVDs from this company, but they were a brick and mortar company. You had to drive to their location, rent a DVD. Um, the the pricing structure was such where you'd have to pay $3 to $4 or so a night, um, to rent one of these videos. You'd take it home, watch it, and then you'd bring it back. If you didn't bring it back in time, they'd have late fees that they charge you. And if you just kept it and never brought it back, a lot of times you ended up spending about $60 to $80 for that VHS if you don't return. Okay, so that was the model, guys, and this was something that was they had Hollywood Video, they had a lot of different types of businesses like this that were renting out DVDs and VHSs for people to take home and watch, and that was all that was available. Now, again, customer behavior loved this model because that's all that existed. I still remember going to these places and renting videos, picking two or three, watching them and then taking them back as quick as we can so we don't get charged the late fee, right? So now enters a new company. Okay, let's follow this timeline. Oops. Enters a new company called Netflix. And I know all of you guys are familiar with this one, but you may not be familiar with when they got started. Okay, so they came in around 1998, and unlike Blockbuster Video, they decided that they wanted to take care of the population that didn't like driving to the store. So they said, hey, we're going to do mail delivery. So, and we have DVDs, okay, that we're going to deliver to your mailbox. And our platform is an online store rather than a brick and mortar store. So now instead of getting up and driving somewhere, you can actually just go online to the online store. You can rent a DVD. Once you rent it, it'll show up, at your house in a day or so. You watch that DVD and then you return it, right? And a lot of times, I think you would rent it and then you would send it back, and they'd send you more. You would just have a bunch in queue. Every time you sent one back, they would send you another one. Okay, so again, taking care of the same proven model or the proven business, but changing the way that they do business just a little bit, right? To satisfy some of the things that people did not like about a Blockbuster Video, right? Where you had to drive and go ahead and to get a DVD. So they come in, they're struggling a bit. I remember reading a story on Netflix and the owners, and they were going to Walmart. And if you guys have ever seen those big tubs in Walmart where they sell DVDs for 99 cents to $5 or so, they were going in and buying the entire tub at all these Walmart stores just so that they can have enough inventory to mail out to people, right? So they're struggling. They're having a hard time making money. But again, they're coming in trying to disrupt. They're doing what I'm telling you guys to do: disrupt, 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 and try and find something that's going to be very profitable. Now, while this is going in comes another company trying to disrupt, and they're called Redbox. Okay, a lot of you guys, I remember these guys. They're still around, kind of, and their model though was, we're going to let you rent a video for $1 per night. Okay, and you can hold it for however long you want to hold it. They were a lot more convenient. They went and put their their little kiosks at a lot of McDonald's drive-throughs. So they would have a red box next to it, so you can go up, pull up, order your hamburger, at the same time, tell someone in your car to run and grab a DVD. They grab you a DVD, you get your food, you get a DVD, you go home and watch it, and the next time you come back to McDonald's, you can just put it in and return it, okay? So And a lot of times, when you were done, you would come back, turn it back in. If you decided never to turn it back in, that's fine too. They would just end up charging you the DVD cost for a non-return. Okay. So look at these models, guys. Again, these are all models that are trying to satisfy a need from the customers to want to be able to consume media, to consume movies that are no longer in the movie theaters, right? So all these guys are playing the same game in a little different way. Blockbuster is still the big, the big pioneer. They're still doing more business than all of these guys. Um, but then, something changes. Um, and let me tell you one more thing about this. A lot of people don't realize too that there was a time during this whole ordeal that Netflix came to Blockbuster and said, "Hey, you know what? We're willing to sell. We're willing to sell our business to you, Blockbuster, since you're the biggest out there, for $50 million." Okay. And Blockbuster looked at that and said, "No, we're doing fine." They probably had a big board meeting sitting, and I think they did, because I remember reading a story on this too. Um, if you guys can't tell, I read a lot of stories or history about startup businesses, why they failed, because I'm trying to learn. So I read they had a board meeting, they all turned it down. So they said, "No, Netflix, we're good. We don't need to buy your business. We're going to decline." Okay. So in the meantime, again, Blockbuster's making moves. Redbox comes out, starts doing really, really well. Netflix is struggling a little bit. And then Netflix comes out and does something that changes the whole game. Okay. And the only reason they do this, guys, is because of something called research. I'm telling you guys that you got to research. Okay. So they do their research, and now they come back out, and I'm gonna write this down as a new business, because this is when they change the game. Okay. So Netflix comes out again now. But what happens is, this is 2012, and they come out with a streaming service. So they literally, because of the speed of internet, they come out with a streaming service, right? And they become the new king or the new queen, right? They're the leaders now, because Blockbuster, the pioneer, was not willing to make a change. Okay. Blockbuster was not willing to adapt and to listen to the customer needs, okay, or to see advancements in internet technology, to where they would have realized that, just like Netflix did, they can now take advantage of what's going on. So um, trying to get this off of my screen. All right, right there. So now Netflix, they own the space, right? And quickly, Pioneer goes, or Blockbuster Video goes from being the pioneer and the biggest company out there, right, in the 2000s, to filing bankruptcy in 2010. This is even before Netflix hit it big in 2012, when their streaming service went crazy, right? So they had already introduced it, things are going good, and in 2012 they became the big dogs. So now Blockbuster had to file bankruptcy in 2010, but a lot of things that a lot of people don't realize also, that there was a time when Blockbuster tried to salvage things, and they came and created Blue Box. Okay. Little too late. A little too late. Okay. And they were trying to model after this. Okay. But again, a little too late, or a lot too late. Okay. And they ended up going out of business. All these DVD, video, brick and mortar places ended up going out of business, because no longer did anybody need to go and do that. And a lot of you guys here listening too, you probably are like, "Well, dang, I would never do that." We got streaming service right now. But if you pay attention, Now what's happening in the market is you have, right? You have Disney, right? All of these guys are paying attention. You got Disney, you got CBS, you got all these people uh, doing exactly what I'm saying, right? You got Comcast, right? They're doing their own. You got Hulu, right? You got all these different businesses that now understand what I'm talking about being the second mover, third mover, fourth mover in an industry and taking certain things away from like a Netflix, right? Netflix is big, but they still have holes, and those people who are willing to come in and fill those holes, they can start a great profitable business. Okay, guys. So again, look at this study, guys. I mean, if I know that if Blockbuster could have went back in time, right? Hindsight is always 2020 or better. Um, do you think they would have taken that $50 million offer from Netflix? Oh heck yeah, they would have taken it, right? But again, this is business, guys. This is disruption. You want to come into something that's already proven, okay? Already proven, and you want to be able to build on top of it, you know. And right now, if you look at Netflix, they're doing billions in revenue. Okay, never done before in this industry. Now Netflix is doing it. Okay, and doing it in a big, big way. So, um, again, being a pioneer has its advantages when introducing a new popular or a new concept, right? But unless you are continuously assessing your surroundings, your competition, the situation, again, watch Facebook. They will buy up anybody that threatens, to become a new disrupting organization, new disrupting app or whatnot. Okay. So it is much easier, much less time consuming, and financially safer to start with an existing market and fill in gaps where these pioneers are lacking um, than it is to start something that is brand new. Okay. So again, what we learn from this, guys, is just you got to keep your competition very, very, very close. Okay. So don't be a pioneer. Okay. That's all I got to say. I don't know how many times I can say it. Just don't be a pioneer. Okay. You got to get in here. You got to come up with something that's already proven and that you can come in and satisfy a certain sub niche within that niche, take care of them, even if it's 10, 20, 30%, 5% of a market, right? Depending on how big it is, come and take care of that, create something that's going to do very, very, very well. Okay, guys.